And we're also following another developing story, this one out of Flint, Michigan, where the FBI is leading the investigation into the stabbing of a police officer. It's being called a possible act of terrorism. It happened at the Bishop International Airport. That airport remains closed at this time. The suspect was taken into custody at the scene. Our justice reporter, Paula Reid, has been following the story from Washington. Paula, what do we know about how this all unfolded?
Reno, we know that the airport was evacuated shortly after an airport security officer was stabbed in the neck and the back. We've learned a little bit more about exactly who that officer was. Jeff Nelville is a retired county sheriff who now works at the Bishop Airport as a security officer. One bit of good news in this incident is that his condition has been upgraded from critical to stable following surgery. Now, after this incident, as you noted, the airport was shut down. There was a temporary ground stop, which has now been lifted, but the airport remains closed. Canines continue to sweep it as they collect evidence about exactly what happened here.
And terrorism, Paula, our understanding is it hasn't been ruled out yet. Where do you think this investigation will go from here?
Well, Rena, anytime you have a shooting or a stabbing that occurs, especially in the public part of an airport, the first instinct for everyone, including investigators, is going to be to try to determine whether or not this was an act of terrorism. And at this point, officials tell me they have no concrete evidence that this was terrorism, but it certainly hasn't been ruled out. And that's what they're going to look at as they continue to gather evidence. Now, there are some witness accounts that he allegedly yelled Allahu Akbar before this stabbing, but Rena, that has not been confirmed by officials, but there are witness accounts out there. And I will say, based on experience in reporting on this kind of incident, usually by now, investigators can kind of wave you on or off of whether or not they think this is terrorism. So at this point, it does indicate that this is possibly a terrorist incident.
Paula, the fact that the airport has been shut down, is that common practice for something like this?
I would think so, especially an airport of this size. They want to make sure that there are no devices anywhere. The ATF is on the scene. Canines are sweeping the entire facility, just to make sure there is no other aspect of any potential plot. Make sure there's no one else, or that this individual didn't leave anything behind. So I think it's definitely a standing operating procedure. If you think there's even a possibility that this was a terrorist attack, to shut the airport down, have it evacuated, and sweep the scene.
And do we have any update on the condition of the police officer, Paula?
We do. That's one bit of good news in this very tragic incident today. After surgery, originally it was reported that he was in critical condition, but following surgery, he has been upgraded to stable. So it is some good news about Mr. Nelville here today. Based on what has happened to him, I think that is the only bit of good news out of the story today.
Certainly is good news. Our Paula Reid. Thank you, Paula, for keeping us updated.